once you put a name to it, you were like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what we're feeling.
Imposter syndrome is feeling like you're in a place that you don't belong, but that other people don't realize yet that you don't belong there. Like, you know that you aren't supposed to be there, like you aren't qualified to be there, or you don't fit in, or there's someone better who would be better to be in your spot, but it hasn't caught up with you yet.
I definitely have had that feeling before, and like I know it's not true necessarily, but you can't shake the kind of underlying feeling that it is true, and I think that's exactly what imposter syndrome is.
Fake it till you make it.
Yes. But see, that's kind of like talking about imposter syndrome, because you feel like you're constantly faking it and never actually making it.
We are constantly meeting our peers that are feeling the exact same way we are. Like, all of us are, once you put a name to it, you were like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what we're feeling.
I think for me, the phrase that comes to mind is fake it till you make it.
Right.
And I think for a lot of us, we are put in situations, whether we're willingly or unwillingly, into something that maybe we're not qualified to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to pretend like you know what you're doing in order
Right.
just to survive. I mean, especially when it comes to work. I mean, this is your job. You have to make sure you're successful, you're going to get paid. And I know I've personally been in that situation. I was kind of thrown into doing training at work one time, and I didn't think I was all that great at training. And I was very uncomfortable. I thought I was just quivering and everything like that and shaking. I felt my voice was shaking, but everybody said, oh my gosh, you were one of the best trainers ever. And even them telling me that, I was like, no, I'm not. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just reading stuff from a slide that somebody gave me. And so I think that's kind of what I think of with imposter syndrome.
I'm in my third year of my career, but before that it was like all school, all the time. And since I got out, I realized that I was trying to find another reason to go back to school because I didn't feel like I was qualified enough for it. I just felt like I needed more letters after my name or something before I could really do the job that I am doing now.
I have to honestly say, years of experience have helped me get to the point where I'm like, yes, I am the subject matter expert. I do know more about this than other people.
How do you know where in the line you're finding yourself? Are you overvaluing your skills and knowledge? Or are you undervaluing your skills and knowledge? Whenever you take something new on, are you doing it because you have the skill and knowledge to do it? Or do you just really think you're that good?
Yeah, and overvaluing or undervaluing your skills and knowledge, I feel, comes into play, especially if you're job hunting and salary negotiations.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible.
When I look back at it, the only reason I was kept in the job was because I was willing to work night shift. But that doesn't take qualifications. They really just needed a babysitter in the middle of the night and over Christmas break.
But what's wrong with luck? I mean, I guess part of me just thinks that, pretty much everything we do is a mix of skill and luck. I mean, everybody gets some lucky breaks and gets some unlucky breaks, and to be in the right place at the right time is a good thing, right? It's not a thing that, it doesn't diminish our accomplishments, it just adds to it. I don't know, no? I mean, is it a better accomplishment if there was no luck in your head, if there was no luck involved? It was only through, brains and skill and effort?
I hadn't thought about it.
We've talked a lot about imposter syndrome in a professional setting, but have you ever experienced it in your personal life?
Everything with Music and Drama Club.
Coming into just the Goddard theater group, I had never done theater before doing MAD, and the only reason I even did it is because this one was like, hey, you want to try out? I'm like, wait, we can do that? Just seeing all these people that were talented in dancing and singing and acting and something that I've never actually succeeded at or done even in a menial way. I thought for sure, I'm like, oh, okay, so I don't belong here.
I kind of got drug into my first show, and the reason I came back was intentionally to push my comfort zone.
I think with community theater, especially in the DC area, there's so many talented people who come to these performances or who come to the shows to audition. And I know I feel a little insecure at times because I don't have a background in theater. I have a background in IT, and I enjoy it, but I don't have formal training in singing and acting. I've never studied it. Sometimes, I do feel pretty insecure sometimes at these auditions because I'm just listening to people and I see them and just the techniques that they have and how they approach a cold read, and it's like, I don't know how to do any of that, but I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah, definitely like the first shows when I was working with people who had been doing theater for a long time and knew what they were doing and had experience, I felt very out of place. Like I felt like I was, like there definitely should have been someone better or more experienced there, because I'm singing duets with someone that's been singing for all their entire life. I'm like, you deserve something a little bit better on this song than I'm gonna give you.
So I'm a dancer. I dance ballet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I do not have the typical body type of a ballerina. So like, I knew from a young age that I wasn't going to do it professionally. And so I had to make a choice at some point to deal with the discomfort that comes from being in a class with a bunch of really super thin dancers just because I enjoyed the art. And like, I almost feel that that's similar to how I've felt about work. It's like, I enjoy what I do. I guess I was a physicist, now I'm an engineer, but I've enjoyed both of those fields a lot, and so I have chosen actively to deal with the discomfort that I sometimes feel in order to produce a product that I'm proud of in the end, or just to do what I like in terms of, a hobby.
I did want to share one thing. I don't know how much longer we're going to go on, but so what I was asking myself was, okay, so where in your life have you felt like a fraud? Have you felt like an imposter? And it was just really, really easy to come up with a huge example in my life. I was a kind of a young mom, and I was, raising 2 kids with my husband, and like everywhere there were alcoholics and drug addicts, like in my life. And I was in this sort of position in my community, like, there's Abby, and she's like, she's got it all going on, and she knows what she's doing, and she's got this beautiful kid and this wonderful marriage and this wonderful, life, when inside my house all hell was busting loose. And then I would look around me and I would think, well, all those people, they've all got it going on, and they're the ones who are really successful in their families. And then what I realized later, way later, was that I've always had this habit, and I think this might be part of imposter syndrome, of comparing my inside to other people's outsides. So I look at them and I look at their veneer, and I look at like the mess inside of my head or inside my family, and I think, well, that woman over there, her kids never say fuck you to them, It's like, and for all I know, they do, It was just we make this assumption that everybody else is better. For many years, felt like I was a fraud in my own life. Once I owned it and got some help in dealing with it, there was nothing to be ashamed of. There was a lot of shame involved.
So we all just danced to the song Pretenders that kind of had lyrics that seemed to be talking about imposter syndrome. Were there any particular lyrics that you related to, or any parts in the dance that you have thoughts about in some way?
I liked in the song when we were dancing that in each of the scenes, a different person seemed like they were insecure. I guess that was kind of a fun concept, and that we were all ultimately joined together in that because we're all the same.
I really relate to feeling insecure and being with other people and feeling like I'm trying to be cool, but I'm not really cool. And the other people around me are. So I really related to that.
And you definitely feel like that, especially at middle school and high school, especially when you're trying to figure yourself out. But you still experience that, well into adulthood as well. You're just trying to still figure out, well, what type of person I am. I've got this degree now. What am I going to do with my life? And that's still a process that you have to adjust to. And I think a lot of us, especially, you go through your early 20s, you are insecure just thinking about who you are and what you're doing. And Actually, hopefully you'll one day figure all that out.
Well, I can't hold out a lot of hope because I'm stubborn, and I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do when I grow up.
Making the video is kind of therapeutic. Like, I mean, well, especially like, because before, I mean, I was kind of like not feeling like I could really dance, or I wouldn't have called myself a dancer for sure. So I kind of liked that aspect and kind of, I almost didn't sign up because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do, or like, you know, or didn't think that I would want to be a featured dancer kind of thing. Like, so,
I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
I had to push through a lot of my own imposter syndrome in creating this whole video project about imposter syndrome. Most times when I'm kind of putting myself out there in a leadership position, it's because I've seen it done before and I see things that I can try and maybe do better. This was not one of those situations because obviously this is not something we normally do with music and drama club. And it's not something I've ever done doing like this kind of music video type of thing. Like I've done theater and I've done video production for like science communication for NASA. I've never kind of tried to combine like a theatrical sort of video. And like, it's like I don't have any idea what I'm doing. But hopefully it comes together anyway.
So, when you started talking about these videos, imposter syndrome in general, I talked to my coworkers about it. Every last person, my family members, coworkers, friends, have all been able to see a flavor of imposter syndrome in their life. And I think it helps to know everyone else is going through the same thing.
I think it's important to talk about imposter syndrome. I think it is important to address it, and maybe as you move on from the like sense of community, everybody's dealing with this comforting feeling, into the, well, how do I deal with it? Maybe the focus of the conversation should shift to that, like techniques that people use to deal with their own imposter syndrome. I think maybe moving on to a how sort of mentality.
Well, when you get there, let us know.
Yeah, I will.
Say what's your how.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't have one. I'll let you know.
Right?
Yeah, it is important to talk about it. Then to like sort of like get to the, okay, so what do we do about this? And I think I probably spend more of my time
I will take advice.
feeling like an imposter than not, but really like when you have those moments where you feel like you know something and that like you are like kicking butt at your job and that you're doing this just as efficiently, if not more efficiently than somebody else, to really like sit with that and to like acknowledge it to yourself, just to like, I don't know, remind yourself that you are here for a reason, and the longer that you can hold on to that feeling, I think the easier it comes the next time. And that, I don't know.
That's a really good point, yeah.
Yeah, hopeful that at some point, more often than not, I'll just feel confident and the imposter stuff will just slowly go away. We'll see. Get back to it.
Yeah, I like that.